ourselves on the Arima Sea Chaser 17. Arima Sea Chaser 17 test run with a Yamaha 115. This is a 2-stroke model, and you can tell it's kind of louder. The hull is a really cool hull, 17 foot with this. It's a factory skip tower on here, so that's pretty rad to have on a boat. Got good clearance here. I got about, I think the lowest part, I got about an inch over my head, so if you're 6'2" and you don't duck, you might touch, but I can clear to 6'1". We've got the boat out here to give it a run. We got it fired up and warmed up. We did start at the shop before we came here, just to be sure everything would start up good and everything, because the boat had been sitting for a little while. So we got the boat running, and it didn't take much to get it, but a lot of throttle. You have to use this rev bypass here to get it started up when it's cold. And then the choke is right here below it, and then the key. But that's we can do that at a cold start. Look at it, but we've got something special about this boat. It got a lot of fuel, so it's got 2 side tanks, one on each side here, and it looks like these are 10 gallons a piece. So you've got 20 gallons here plus your main tank in the back. That's putting you about 40 gallons of gas at least. It might be a little more. So you've got enough fuel capacity in this to go for pretty long runs. That's kind of neat. It's got this forward berth here. Well, not really a berth, it's just a storage area there. You can see in there. Little storage area. You can put a porta potty in there or something. And then we got a run test here, so I'm gonna bring it down here to idle. I'm just gonna set it down. Get you a closer shot of the motors here. All right, we're idling here down. There we go. And we're just coming to a stop here. And we'll go ahead and put it into gear. Hit the horn. No horn. No power to any of the switches. Better get that fixed. Put that into gear. I'm gonna power off this fish finder. There it goes. Got some stuff going on there. Not sure. Okay, let's turn it around and let's get her some zip runs here so we can see how it does. I got the motor trimmed all the way down right there, so the motor's setting all the way at its lowest point. Give it a little throttle to get into this corner here. Speed's not reading on here. It's probably the pettit tube's not hooked up, but I got my phone pulled up there with it right there. So we'll get a speed run on here. See how she does. I'm actually going to stand up to run this, so see here, I've got it stand up view. Okay, there's 3,200 RPMs. It should start planing out right here easy. I'm not holding the wheel, and it's even under a lot of torque, so without holding the wheel even, that's pretty good. There's 38. We're gonna have to slow down turn. I didn't quite get us done quick enough to do a pass, so we'll do a nice big wide turn here. Okay, here we go. Probably hit our wake. We'll go through our wake here. Feel the cut. Do good if there's deep entry valve. Okay, there's 4,300, we got a top speed about 35 miles an hour. That's without gear. That's me in the boat, just me by myself here in the boat. 4,800 RPMs. Could probably stand to pitch down a little bit. I believe this motor probably can easily get up there around 6,000 RPMs range and really still be plenty happy with these 2 cycles. They like that. So you could get a lot, you could suck another 5-10 miles an hour out of it with a bigger or a lower prop. So let's go ahead and give it one more shot here. We'll go ahead and just do a straight hole shot. Got to pitch my knee against it here. Trims all the way down. There you can see, trims all the way down, and there we go. Got 36 miles an hour. I brought the trim up to right out here under 3, and we were able to bring that. We were able to bring those RPMs up and get a little bit more speed out of it. This boat has a really deep entry on that bow, so it's really slicing, and that's actually a great thing because this is a modified V. It transitions to a really flat space in the back, which gives the boat a lot of stability. If you were to do deep V all the way down, well, the boat's gonna list really bad anytime. It's gonna rock worse and it's gonna list when you walk to one side or the other. But one thing cool about this Arima is it's happy when you get it down there. So I can walk to the side here. You see the boat's level there, and I hardly list it at all when the boat gets here level. Better just shut that off. That died on its own. But listing hardly any. So the hull is really cool for the stability, but it has a really nice cut on the bow. It's really sharp on the bow. Let's see if we can start this motor back up here. There we go. Yeah, she's purring. All right, so there we go. You know, that's one of the things of this 2 cycles. Some people can tune them up and get them really, really good. I don't do much with those anymore. And so that's something you're gonna have to deal with. Either one, you're gonna deal with these cop-outs and you're gonna put it, there is a place for a kicker on the back right here. So you could go to a little 4-stroke kicker, it'd be good. But this hole is epic. Like, this little hole is an awesome little hole. They do a good job on them. They have storage bins in the floor. They have the V-berth up there, but you're really hard to find a boat that has as deep of entry as this boat does, and the stability that this boat has. The other thing too is this is cut out here in the back. If you can see, the motor actually is tucked in on the boat, so it has more buoyancy out on the sides, almost like a catamaran does. Therefore, you get this huge stability. I mean, this is her. You can see the horizon. You can see how little this boat's listing with all of my weight to this side. This is a 17-foot boat. So that being able to have this minimal of listing, this is a rad hull for that. So really, and then that skip tower is nice. It does have curtains that go all the way around it. So it will close up all the way and snap down all the way to the floor. So you can enclose this entire helm area here. So you've got that, and then tons of fuel. Like this hull is going to be a hard hull to beat, and so that's going to be where most of the value is in this boat, is in that hull. The motor itself, a lot of those, I mean, you can keep it running how it is. You see it does its job. Throw a kicker on there, you'll have a nice scenario where you can do both. The other thing is just replace it. I mean, a 70 horse on this thing would scoot us right along, would do real good. So there's a lot of options that way. If you want to just upgrade it and have one of the best boating setups you can get, this would be one, and get in it for a lot less money than a new one by far. The bones in this thing are solid. It was outside for the last year, but prior to that it had been indoors its whole life. It's got there goes, it died again, just idling. Put that back in. I'm going to give it a little throttle because it didn't want to fire up. Let's let it sit for a second here and I'll restart it. But you can see these old 2-strokes, how finicky they can be. But usually they like to either go fast or don't go at all. They don't like this middle of the range, you know, thing. So, but it is what it is. So that's what we got. All right, there you go. I'm gonna get this thing started up and we'll run her back in. All right, today we're gonna walk around this 1993 Arima Sea Chaser 17. This is a really neat hull. We're gonna go show you all the features on it, kind of lay out for you, so you understand exactly what we're looking at, what we're dealing with this boat. It is a 93, so obviously a lot of consideration is going to be to look into the condition of this boat. But we'll get you all the details. I'm going to show you all the goods and bads up close, so you guys have a really strong idea of what this boat is before coming to look at it. Starting out, it does have the 2-inch ball on the tongue, and we have a 4-flat connector. So we have a 4-flat connector. This is just an extension on it because that would obviously be too short. Let's see, we've got a brake system on this trailer, so it does have brakes. As to how well they work or anything, I don't know, but we towed it and it had no problems. It felt totally normal. It does have the spare tire on the boat. This is a galvanized Pacific trailer. These are awesome trailers. These are great made trailers. Very minimal hardware on it. This boat has not been used much at all in salt water at all. It does really good. The jack on it is standard small jack with the fold away on it. We've got the winch on here. It's a newer winch. It's all backwards because it's upside down, so you got to remember that. It turns the opposite direction as normal on here. Let's go around the boat. Looking at the overall condition, I found two things. One, there's something has made contact on the hull right here, and so there's my finger in comparison size, thumb, and there's some spidering on the fiberglass on there. All the way on the sides and the hull and underneath it, it all looks, underside looks perfect, like nothing. No problems with that. That looks absolutely excellent on that. We just lifted up the axles and spun the tires. No bearing noise at all, so it should be good for a long trip. No issues at all there. They are Carling tires, which are Carlisle tires, and they are a good tire. Looking out here in the back too, we've got this 115, as you see in the water run. It's a 2-stroke, so those are always fun to deal with. But that can be switched out or ran with it. It does 30. We got almost 38 miles an hour with this 115 on the boat. It has this gear lick, so you can actually put a kicker on here and mount the trolling motor. Do a nice little 4-stroke. That'd be a really good option to add on there too. This has a skip tower. That's what that's called up top. That's a skip tower. It's factory. This also does have the full wraparound curtains too that come with it. The owner of this boat just hasn't given to us. This is a consignment boat. The owner hasn't brought them yet, but they said they have. Let's jump up inside the boat and then we'll look at some more things. One thing you might notice is that it has a fill here. It has a fill in the back, and it has one on the other side. There's 3 fills on this boat because it has 3 fuel tanks. That's why it has this diverter valve right here to set it onto the different tanks right here, because it has saddle tanks on the sides there, 10 gallons on each one of there, and then it has a larger, more like a 20 gallon in the back here. We've got the battery compartment here. These panels on these boats all come out, so you can remove all these panels. And then they're always hard to figure them out. They're easy once you understand how they go. They go in like that. So they're actually pretty easy. Pull this side out here. That's where the oil tank is for the motor, is a oil injected motor. So that's where the tank is for that. And then you have the main tank here. That's the main fuel tank there. You can see it's about half full of gas there. It does have a fuel gauge up front. Okay, let's see. Going into here, a lot of electronics. I don't know what kind of condition these are in. This is a CB, this is the VHF radio. We've got an Eagle older fish finder here on here. I'm not sure on the working condition of that. With this cool of a hull, I'd probably say, hey, let's put some new electronics in it. Lots of storage up here in the front. It has a nice rubber mat so that you can actually throw stuff in there and not worry about it. You could definitely put a porta potty. There's a spot for a small porta potty up underneath there. That's kind of a cool way to have some storage up there. Plus, this is great because on this little boat, it's really designed to be a small little compact offshore boat, something that can handle really big water for its size. And by putting this front this bulkhead here and putting the windshield up and this tall bow on this boat, this makes this thing so there's no way for water to fill up the front of the boat like you would with the center console, or even a lot of aluminum boats where they have that open area in the bow that can hold water. Even with the drains, they just can't do it fast enough if you're doing that. This thing will bob up and punch right through a lot of stuff. A really neat setup on this bow. These boats I like this hull a lot. I'm really into this hull, especially how stable it was with as deep a V as it has on the entry of the bow. Okay, we have standard Yamaha controls here, and we've got the Yamaha gauges there. The speedometer did not work, I recall that. Definitely did not work. Let's see, what else we got? These seats, I would probably say throw some new seats in this. There'd be some because there's so many nice options for seating. And it sits a little bit low too anyways for this. I can barely see over the windshield. So you're usually going to be standing up anyways. This is one of the raddest things about this boat is you can stand up drive it. So you can be right here and be operating the boat from a standing position, which it gives you a ton because your knees are the best suspension you got. All right, 6'1" height here. I've got about an inch clearance at 6'1" for your height of the tower. Another thing that's really cool is even on this small of a boat, this is a walk around. So once you come up here, it's got a step here, and then it's got a grab rail up on the top here, right? So I can go around this while I'm stable. The boat could be moving. I can feel like I'm totally stable with this grab handle on here, and then make it all the way up to the front of the boat. It has an anchor locker up here. Put your anchor in, so you can deploy the anchor up here. You could honestly even fish off of the front here. Like if you were out on there, you could sit there and fish a person jigging up on the front here. So there is actually enough room for that. Some rails to grab onto. It has tread deck on there, and then you've got this handle around the top that you can grab onto and swing around this thing like a monkey. VHF antenna hanging off here, and then there's a CB antenna up there as well. See anything else we need to show? Got storage with drains in here, some pine needles in there. Probably clean that out. We got same thing on this side, storage with drains, a couple of holders. If you have a 12-ounce can, you can fit it in these. I think that's about the only size of drink that you can fit in one of these. Is one of those little 12-ounce cans. It's kind of a skinny little. And we've got some rod holders here, the Fish on Sports rod holder, or Fish on Temperance rod holders. There's one up there, one back here, so we can move them around. There are some little hand crank downriggers that supposedly come with it too that are cans. Just little hand crank ones, nothing electric. The hull is solid. That's one thing you always look on these Arimas, but this thing is rock solid. No flex, no bubbling, anything like that. Everything's 100% on this hull. That was one of the first things you look at these Arimas. So super solid decks, no issues there. Transom solid as well too. We were looking at that. We made sure we pulled that out and looked at that. There's no squishing of the transom or anything on this motor where the bolts are going through it. Even if you look inside, they're not compressing through at all. It's stout and solid. So you've got a solid transom on this as well.